told you once you said the words, it's a wrap, it's over.
How long ago did I say that?
The Phoenix would rise.
How long ago did I say that? I said it weeks ago.
Was it the Wake game or the State game? No, it was the Wake game.
No, it was even before the Wake game. I said it was a wrap.
I could find out.
Oh, was it? Or it might have been the Duke?
Might have been the Duke
Cameron?
game. It might have been the Duke game.
Because you saw them in person.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've seen them in person a couple times already. My point is, I'm not sold on the Tar Heels yet, even after going on the road and beating Florida State in a very weird game. An incredibly weird game.
Pete Nance, once again, 2 games in a row now.
Yeah.
That is the most Carolina thing ever, by the way.
2 games at the end of February against teams that either A, haven't been good all season, Florida State, or B, waning right now in the case of Virginia. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens when they host Duke on Saturday.
No, it's the most Carolina thing ever. Adam Lucas is already writing a book about the power of lemon Oreos. I can feel it. I can feel it in my plums.
I feel it in my plums.
Good for Pete Nance, man.
Yeah.
2 games in a row has really stepped up and given UNC what they need. Yeah. Leaky Black last night was really, really good, too.
Apparently, we found out that Leaky Black is capable of emphatic dunks.
He was doing more than that. I know Corey Alexander was fired up over the one dunk. Oh, that saved the easy, Corey. But Leaky scoring 18 points saved the game because Armando Bacot 1 point. Armando Bacot. Well, Carolina won a game where their best player scored 1 point. That's actually impressive. I don't care if Florida State's 4 bazillion in the
that's
net.
Fair. No, that's fair. No, I'm not going to dispute that point. But I will say this about Leaky Black: if Leaky Black is your best 3-point shooter at this point in time, that's a problem. And it's not a knock on Leaky Black, who can hit a 3 here and there. But here's been Carolina's issue all year. And I actually asked this question of a couple of people. Like, if Carolina just played and shot an average 3-point percentage, like nothing off the charts hot
like
last
Brady
year.
Manic, molten hot.
Not that lava, and not, what we've been seeing for the majority of the year. They just were middle of the road and average replacement level 3-point shooting team. How do we talk about this season? It's totally different.
It's got to be 3 or 4 more wins.
Totally different.
Yeah.
Totally different, right? I still don't know if what we're seeing right now is sustainable. I still don't know if this Carolina team, as we saw last night in the Florida State win, gave away a lead. They don't do well with leads in the second half. That got back into single digits with about 4 minutes to go. And the reason why Corey Alexander was losing his mind over that dunk was because that dunk was needed. That dunk was needed to put it in the books because Florida State was making things interesting down the stretch.
Yes.
And even against Virginia on Saturday night at home, after they shot lights out in the first half, they started out the second half on a 7-0 run. That game got, I think, within single digits at one point. And then, obviously, they won the game. But still, Carolina does this thing in the second half where they do not handle prosperity well. And that's going to bite them in the ass against a better team like Duke, or when they get a little bit further in the ACC tournament and maybe even the NCAA tournament. Because last night, Joe Lunardi was in his bag at halftime talking about the Tar Heels. Like, hey, they beat Virginia on Saturday. It looks like they're going to be on their way to beating Florida State. And Lunardi was still like, I don't know. This is still the first team out in my book. We'll see what happens on Saturday.
No, and that's another Q1 opportunity on Saturday.
It is.
And that's what it comes down to for North Carolina. Just like last year, they got to take care of business, push to a wall. They took care of business.
Mm-hmm.
Now, unlike last year, you don't have this K magic bullet.
No.
Right? You win the game in Durham. You retire. You beat Mike Krzyzewski in his final game at home. And that was a real rocket ship of confidence. But there's nothing stopping this team confidence-wise if Nance is going to play like he has the past 2 games. He was a net negative in the game in Durham. Yeah. He was a net negative in the game in Raleigh. Mm-hmm. They lost both of those games for a reason.
Well, he was a net negative against Miami at home, too. So there have been a lot of
these... I think everybody was in there. In fairness to him in the Miami game, I just think Miami's the best team in the league.
Yeah.
There was you can't knock me off that block. There
was a moment where Pete Nance was blocking his own guys in the paint. So it was a weird game all around. But speaking of Nance, all the credit he has gotten right. He's been hitting some threes. He's been the difference in these wins, and he's talking about the chemistry for the Tar Heels going into the last week of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I think we feel really good. Definitely knock on wood, but I think we definitely feel like we're hitting our stride. Coming together as a team and really just making the plays that we need to make against good teams, and that's definitely helping our confidence out a lot.
So that's Pete Nance last night after the win against Florida State. Here's Hubert Davis on the team playing with confidence right now.
You know, as I said before, I'm so proud of these kids and just the response of them the entire season. You know, to lose a tough game at NC State and then, this was a stretch where we played 4 games in 8 days and 3 of them on the road. And for us, in the last 3 games to come out with wins versus quality opponents like Notre Dame and Virginia and Florida State, and 2 of them on the road, I'm very proud of them, and it should give them a lot of confidence.
So there's Hubert Davis on the confidence over the last 3 games. I am still in wait-and-see mode for the Tar Heels. I want to see how they play against Duke on Saturday. I want to see how they handle the ACC tournament in Greensboro, because there's no givens for the Tar Heels right now in terms of the NCAA tournament. And let's say they do beat Duke and they get themselves on the right side of the bubble. Well, at that point, what kind of seed are you going to have? And that's another issue that can be a problem when the NCAA tournament comes around.
I've seen this a lot.
And that is?
I could see them being in that 8-9 game.
Sure.
Scraping through it.
Mm-hmm.
One of those games where you just you got to grit your teeth.
Yeah.
I could see Purdue. I don't know how much you've been watching some of these other leagues, but obviously I gamble and watch way too many of these other leagues.
Yeah.
Whoever gets Purdue, who's a 1,
mm-hmm.
You're gonna adjust your television when you see Purdue. You're gonna think it's the 1948 Indiana State Championship. You're gonna wonder if Purdue has a segregated roster. Is what you're gonna wonder.
I see.
And I'm telling you right now, the big dude, Zach Edey.
Yeah, Zach Edey.
The second he gets in foul trouble, Purdue runs around like
they don't know what to do.
I don't know what happened. I don't know because the second he gets in foul trouble, Purdue. I don't care who it is. Whoever draws the good straw and gets Purdue in that 8-9 game is going to take Purdue down.
If one positive thing I will say,
and I will tell you how bracket luck works, my friend. It might be Duke. It might be Duke, but Duke might have been playing themselves out of that 8-9 line.
All I know is that Armando Bacot scored 1 point in that game, had foul trouble early, and they still found a way to win. That's the positive I'll take from the Tar Heels last night.